Good day, class. For today, we will discuss the rules of netiquette. But before we start our lesson, let's have Q&A muna. So, what was the first computer called? Natatandaan ba? It was... Okay, it was a mainframe computer. So, it is a large computer capable of rapidly processing massive amounts of data at high speeds. And what was the very first mainframe computer? It was ENIAC, which stands for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. So it was the first programmable electronic general-purpose digital computer completed in 1945. So again, the first computer was named mainframe computers. Okay, that's it. Okay, next. So Wi-Fi stands for... Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity. Okay, so who helped discover the Wi-Fi? It was Hedy Lamarr. So Hedy Lamarr was an American actress and inventor who pioneered the technology that would one day form the basis for today's Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth communication systems. Okay, so now let us discuss the rules of netiquette. So this means we will talk through the policies and guidelines of netiquette. So what is the meaning of netiquette? Okay, so netiquette is often referred to as etiquette for the internet. So netiquette is a made-up word from the words net and etiquette. So netiquette describes the rules of conduct for respectful and appropriate communication on the internet. Now for our lesson objectives today. So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to consider one's and others' reputation and safety when using and sharing information using the internet, and be able to determine and also avoid the dangers of the internet. Next one is to become responsible in the use of social networking sites, and lastly is to browse the internet efficiently and properly through proper referencing. So, as teenagers, you're all exposed to many things powered by the internet, whether it is socializing, playing games, reading sports news, online shopping, and the likes. The internet has given you one of the most powerful tools that your parents during their teenage years did not have. Because of this, it is important to manipulate or utilize this powerful tool properly, because without the proper training you can easily harm yourself due to the fact that the internet is one of the most dangerous places whenever you use it. Now, these are the tips to stay safe online. So kindly read them silently. So the internet truly is a powerful tool, so it can be used to promote a business, gain new friends, and stay in touch with the old ones. So it is also a source of entertainment. So through games, online communities, and everything in between. So halos andyan na lahat, diba? But like most things in this world, there is always the other side of the coin. Since the internet is defined as the information superhighway, this means that anyone has access to this highway. Anyone can place information and anyone can grab that information. So any information you share, even the things that you have set privately, can be accessed one way or another. Kaya the internet is one of the most dangerous places, especially if you do not know what you are doing with it. But there is no need to worry, so it is never that late. So hopefully, you are able to consider the proper use of the internet through the tips to stay safe online. Okay, kindly read this silently. Okay, so remember class that the internet is a public place and it is up to you to protect yourself and those people around you. So please always apply these tips because this will help you stay safe when using the internet. Now let us discuss the internet threats. So the next slides are some of the threats that you should be aware of when using the internet. So here's an example of malware, or to be specific, the I love you worm. So it was coded by Onel de Guzman. So he was then a student at AMA Computer College of the Philippines. So I love you sometimes referred to as the love bug or love letter. So it was a computer worm that infected over 10 million Windows personal computers in May 2000. So it started spreading as an email message with the subject line, I love you, and the attachment, love letter for you text. So kahit ikaw din yung naka-receive nito before, syempre, since curious ka, i-open mo. Kasi ang nakalagay ay love letter for you. But the truth is, malware siya. Okay, so the outbreak was estimated to have cost 5.5 to 8.7 billion US dollars in damages worldwide and estimated to cost 10 to 15 billion US dollars to remove this worm. So within 10 days lang, ganun na yung damages niya worldwide. And during that time kasi, wala pang cybercrime law dito sa Pilipinas, kaya hindi siya nakulong. And ang usap-usapan before, kinuha siya ng Microsoft Corporation and doon siya nagtrabaho. Okay, let's start with malware. So malware stands for malicious software. So this refers to all types of programs which are designed to perform harmful or undesirable actions on a system. So these include computer viruses, worms, trojans, spyware, and many other digital pests or threats. Next is Trojan. So it is a malicious program that is disguised as a useful program but once downloaded or installed, leaves your PC unprotected and it allows hackers to get your information. Okay, so with rogue security software, so this tricks the user into posing that it is a security software, wherein it asks the user to pay in order to improve the system, but in reality, they are not protected at all. Next is spyware. So it is a program that runs in the background without you knowing it. So it has the ability to monitor what you are currently doing and typing through keylogging. So keyloggers used to record the keystroke done by the user. So this is done to steal their password or any other sensitive information because it can record email, messages, or any information you type using your keyboard. Next is adware. So it is a program designed to send you advertisements mostly as pop-ups. And then spam. So with spam, unwanted email mostly from bots or advertisers. So it can also be used to send malwares. Next is phishing. So its goal is to acquire sensitive personal information like passwords and credit card details. So this is done by sending you an email that will direct the user to visit a website and be asked to update his or her username, password, credit card, or personal information. And then next is farming. So it is a more complicated way of phishing where it exploits the DNS system. So domain name service or system. So this one naman, this is more complicated. So mas madaling makapangloko since yung mismong DNS yung pinapasok ni hacker. So be careful and be more attentive sa mga websites na pinapasukan nyo. So for example, akala nyo Facebook. Okay, Facebook kasi yung GUI or graphical user interface. So katulad ni Facebook, pero baka fake na Facebook site 'yon. O kaya naman akala nyo BDO website, so baka makuha yung mga personal infos nyo and passwords. So tingnan maigi and always be cautious para safe and secure kayo palagi when you are online. Next is copyright infringement. Okay, so if you create something such as an idea, an invention, a form of literary work, or a research, so you have the right as to how it should be used by others. So this is called intellectual property. In other words, the copyright law includes your rights over your work, and anyone who uses it without your consent is punishable by law. So what is copyright? Okay, so it is the exclusive legal right given to an originator or an assignee to print, publish, perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or musical material and to authorize others to do the same. Okay, how about infringement? So it is the action of breaking the terms of a law, such as an agreement or let's say violation. So, as a responsible user of the internet, you have to consider that not everything out there is free for you to use, just like your own. Okay, contents that you see from websites have their respective copyright. So there are several instances where employees or business owners face copyright infringement and are sentenced to a huge fine due to reckless copying of materials. Okay, so that's it. So for the next topic, we have contextualized online search and research skills, advanced word processing, as well as advanced spreadsheet skills, wherein we will talk through several skills on how to manipulate those mentioned productivity tools. Now for our lesson objectives. So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to use the internet as a tool for credible research and information gathering, and also to use common productivity tools effectively by maximizing its advanced application techniques. Okay, so let's start with contextualized online search and research skills. Online search or online research is a research method that involves the collection of information from the internet. While the research skills, so this refers to the ability of an individual to search for, locate, extract, organize, evaluate, and use or present information that is relevant to a particular topic. So how can you say that you have research skills, or how can we say if an individual has research skills? Okay, so if that individual has the ability to present the results of his or her research in an organized manner. So question class, have you ever searched the internet for a certain information where the search engine returned a different result? So just like with your task last time, so for example, if you were assigned to search for the Madonna as the representation of Mary in the form of an art, but instead you type Madonna only. So what do you think will happen? So what will appear in the search results? So you are more likely stumble upon dun sa Madonna, which is the music artist instead. So mali na kaagad, diba? And if you use the Madonna to search for the Madonna in the first place, syempre you will be directed sa tamang result. Okay, so it is important to have research skills para hindi masayang ang time and effort mo when conducting an online research. Now, in order to avoid those kinds of mistakes, so we have here several guidelines in conducting online research. Okay, so first, have a question in mind. Okay, so kindly read this silently. Okay, so focus on a question you want to be answered. So if it is a series of questions, then contextualize first. So think about it first and never search everything on one go. Then second is narrow it down. So if you are to look for something over the internet, then you should narrow it down, which means that your online search has its focus. Like for example, if your teacher assigned you to search for the character in animation, Tom Sawyer, then do not just type Tom or Tom Sawyer because more likely you will not be directed sa tamang sagot. So you should type Tom Sawyer the animation instead, diba? So next is advanced search. Now this advanced search, so this will allow you to filter out information you do not need. So when you go to Google, there are menus on the upper portion. Then under tools, you can see advanced search there. So but in your version of Google, if you always update your Chrome browser, so iba na siya. Makikita na yan sa settings. So this is also on the upper portion of the interface. So sa right side and then sa widget or doon sa gear icon. So if you click on that, then sa drop down, andoon si advanced search. So ito yung sa hindi pa updated version ni Google. And then this one, ito na yung updated version. Andun siya sa may gear icon or widget. So try to use this class and then let me know how does it work. So if you use this feature, simply type a word like you would normally do and then click the advanced search, and then there are fields wherein it will allow you to filter information para swak sa preferences mo. Okay, next is look for a credible source. Okay, read this with me, class. Some wikis, though filled with updated information, are not credible sources. So this is due to the fact that anyone can edit its content. So if you really want to use that information, then check out the link of the cited text as it is indicated by the superscript number to be navigated to the footnote. So this is where the list of sources is located. Okay, so click the source of the information and then investigate if the information that has been provided is credible. Next is give credit. Okay, so actually this is one of the most important na matutunan nyo, to give proper credit to the rightful owner in order to avoid plagiarism or copyright infringement. So know the law about copyright para you will not be able to violate it in any way. So for instance, in the Philippines, so copyright only lasts a lifetime of the author plus 50 years. So there are also provisions for fair use, which means that an intellectual property may be used without the consent for as long as it is used in commentaries, criticism, search engines, parodies, news reports, teaching, and education purposes. But if you have doubts kung pwede bang gamitin or hindi, okay, so seek permission first or consent. Okay, so now, how to give proper credit para masabi natin na hindi mo kinanya yung gawa ng iba. Okay, so if that is for educational purposes, then you may apply this always. So, kunwari you are asked to search for something over the internet, so ito yung gagamitin mong format at dapat makita ito sa references page. Okay, so I'll be presenting 3 examples with details, and then please ensure to jot down notes. Okay, that's it. So now let us proceed to the next topic. Okay, next topic is about advanced word processing skills. Okay, so Microsoft Word is a word processor software developed by Microsoft Corporation in 1983. So it is the most commonly used word processor software. Okay, so it is used to create professional quality documents, letters, reports, resumes, and also it allows you to edit or modify your new or existing document. So it is especially designed for text-based documents. So on the screen, this is Microsoft Word's environment and its basic parts. So as per its functions, as you can see, most of its functionality can be found on the upper part where there are 7 command tabs. So basically, these tabs are meant to manipulate the text that you type inside the document window. So you can screenshot this so that this will enable you to remember the important parts of Microsoft Word. So next is integrating images and external materials. So with this, integrating or inserting pictures in your document help improves the impression of your document. So why do we need to insert objects or pictures in your document? Okay, so for what purpose? So that you can create a document that will serve its purpose. So like if you create a resume, a written report, a creative project, flyer, brochure, and the like. So though madali lang naman mag-insert ng pictures, your knowledge on different kinds of materials that you can insert or integrate in a Word document and its characteristics can help you create more efficient, richer document not only in content but also in physical form. So it would allow you to be more resourceful and versatile in using Microsoft Word application. Now, there are various kinds of materials that Microsoft Word is capable of integrating in order to make your document richer, more impressive, and more informative, like pictures in the form of JPEG, PNG, or GIF. But when it comes to image placement, so this is where the text and the images in your document are organized properly. So how to use the text wrapping feature. So the real challenge is where to put the image you inserted or where to move it. So we will be discussing the different characteristics of the text wrapping options that you can use with the image you integrated in your document. So again, text wrapping refers to the words that flows around an image in a Word document. Now, there are 7 text wrapping styles. So let's start with this one. So inline with text. So this is the default setting for images that are inserted or integrated in your document. So this treats your image just like a text. Next is square. So with square naman, if you insert an image, this will allow your image to be inserted anywhere, then magkakaroon ng square-like formation na nakapalibot sa image. Next one is tight. Okay, so tight, just like sa square, here the text hugs to the general shape of the image. So mas malapit at nakadikit yung mga text sa picture. Okay, so behind text. So if you inserted an image, then mapupunta sa likod ng mga text. Kaya siya behind text. Next is in front of text. So if you inserted an image, then mapupunta sa unahan ng mga text. That's why in front of text. Now with top and bottom, so if you use this feature, then mapupunta naman yung mga text pwedeng sa top or sa bottom para ma-occupy ni image yung buong space horizontally. Next is true. So true naman, there is no square shape. Kung ano yung shape ng image or ng picture, then ganoon din naka-form yung mga text inside the document. Okay, that's it. So our next topic is advanced spreadsheet skills. Okay, so what is Microsoft Excel? So Microsoft Excel is a program with immense computing power that can also help you organize all types of data. So data organization ang isa sa advantage talaga ni Excel. As in all types of information, you can store them inside the cells. So this includes text as well as numeric data. So you can also create charts and graphs to be analyzed later. So Excel is really one of the best and a great list keeper. Now, this is the Excel's environment. So, meaning these are the parts of a Microsoft Excel, or these are what Microsoft Excel is composed of. Okay, so just like in Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel has 7 command tabs and also a ribbon, but dito sa Microsoft Excel, yung mailings tab and references tab ay wala na. So napalitan sila. What we have here are formulas tab and data tab. So when you select the formulas tab, you can see different options for entering formulas and functions na ginagamit sa iba't ibang klase ng computations. So with data tab naman, there are options or commands on how to manipulate the data available in each of the cell sa loob ng worksheet. So now, we have active cell. So how will you know what is your current position in the worksheet? Okay, so Excel shows many ways to locate your current position. So first, you can look in the name box. And then second, your current position is identified by the cell pointer. And then finally, your current position can be identified by looking at the row and column labels. So, ano kaibahan sa ibang numbers and letters? Okay, so naka-highlight or darker yung shade niya compare sa iba. So, match ba siya ng nasa name box? Yes, that is correct. Okay, next is formula bar. So, with formula bar, it displays the cell address and the contents of the current cell. So, it is divided into 3 sections. So, first is name box. So, it displays the address of the active cell. Then, next is formula bar. So, the shaded part and contains the insert function button. So, also, it has accept and cancel button when data is being typed into a cell. And then, third is cell contents. So this displays whatever the content of a cell. Okay, so next, although most of what you can do in Excel can be done using the keyboard, in most cases, there is a more efficient way. So we have 2 types of pointers, mouse and cell pointer. Okay, so mouse pointer. So kapag nasa labas ka ng worksheet or you are pointing your cursor sa mga commands, ito yung icon na lalabas. Now, cell pointer naman ang appearance kapag nasa loob ka or nakatapat ka sa mga cell. So, ganyan yung icon. So, next is adding and renaming worksheets. So, by default, it contains 3 worksheets. And this can be found at the lower left part of your screen. So, we have here worksheet 1, worksheet 2, and worksheet 3. Okay, so do not forget, by default, we have 3 worksheets. Okay, so to add worksheets, you can click the Insert Worksheet button or the icon beside the sheet number. And in order to rename worksheet, double-click a worksheet tab and change its name according to your need. Next is row and column. So it is the highlighted letter on the upper and number on the right side. So there are instances kasi na hindi fit yung content para sa isang cell. So if you want it to become visible, ito yung gagawin. So to change the column width, position your mouse pointer on the right side boundary of the column header. And to change the row height, position your mouse pointer on the bottom of the row header. Okay, so that's it. Okay, next is Microsoft Excel's data type. So there are 4 data types. We have text, values, dates, and formula. So text also referred to as labels because it is often used to identify the information entered in columns or rows. So values, usually number entries and used in calculations on the sheet. And then dates, so these are values that can be used in calculations to create new dates or calculate time intervals. And if you want to enter the date automatically, so pupunta ka lang sa isang cell and then just type, you can use equals now and then parentheses. And then mag-appear yung date on that particular day. And then with formula, so formula is the instruction that performs calculations on the sheet. So this begins with equal sign, then followed by one or more values to calculate. So this also include arithmetic functions, specialized functions, and the like. So just like this one, yun nasa screen, so you start with equal sign. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening, everyone. God bless.